Hello. Hello. Alright, I'm up. So what is up, everyone? This is my last game of the event. This is Pac-Man Remix, a updated version of a DS game from 2005. This is a Wii. This is on the Wii Games Namco Museum Remix and Namco Museum Mega Mix. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started whenever you're ready. Alright, I guess I can just go ahead and get started. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so the main movement tech in Pac-Man Remix is fairly simple. In addition to rolling around, you also have this boost, which you get by shaking the rear mode. And you get this little boost of speed that moves you forward in one direction. So obviously, you can use this to go fast. You can also use it to break open boxes. And when you use it as you're going up a steep slope and you become airborne, you can gain quite a bit of height, which will be useful for some skips later on in the run. So most of these levels are going to involve collecting enough Pac-Dots to open these Galvus gates, which are these green barriers that I need to get past in order to get to the end of the level. You can see the amount of Pac-Dots I'm going to need for each of those in the lower left-hand corner. Some Galvus gates are skippable, but most of them are not, so most of these stages involve just going around and collecting Pac-Dots to open all the gates. These first few stages are pretty simple, so I actually kind of want to talk about a couple of NG plus rules relating to this game. So you might have first of all noticed that I've already have the game entirely beaten, and I have all 7 bars of health, which you get from eating certain pizzas throughout the game. Because Namco Museum Mega Mix autosaves, it's really annoying to have to wipe your memory every time you want to do runs. So it's allowed to have both of those conditions already fulfilled. It's sort of an NG plus sort of thing, because nothing changes in the main game after you beat it, so it's perfectly allowable. And it just makes resetting a lot more convenient. Yeah, that level was pretty basic. So now we're on to 1-3. So this is the first instance of me using a slope boost to my advantage here. And I'm going to use it to skip having to climb up a wall here, like that. And now I'm going to be... Oh, ooh, wow, I broke both of those boxes at once. So as I'm boosting into boxes like that, I'm actually pressing Z to stop Pac-Man in place. It's kind of a brake function. And it basically allows me to avoid getting all the recoil from breaking these boxes. Otherwise, Pac-Man would just go flying all over the place, and that's not good. That's a technique you're going to be seeing me use often throughout this run to save myself from death. 1-4 is going to be where we're introduced to Night Pac, the first of the powers in this game. So this power makes Pac-Man a little bit heavier, so he moves slower and doesn't get a whole lot of height from like slow boosts and whatnot. But he can break these metal boxes, which normal Pac-Man can't do, and he can also go underwater, which is sometimes required. There we go. Yeah, we can just use him to kind of get past some of these obstacles here. He also can't get hurt by those spears. This level is where we're supposed to be introduced to the other power for this game, Light Pac. However, I'm actually going to be skipping Light Pac in this level because normal Pac moves slightly faster on the ground, and this will allow me to make a faster platform cycle that takes around 8 seconds. Light Pac is kind of the broken power-up of this game. It makes Pac-Man, as the name implies, lighter, so he's a lot floatier in midair, and also he gains a lot of height from like bounce pads and slow boosts, and so that power-up's going to be used quite a bit throughout this run for some big skips. But in this level, it's faster to go without it. Alright, so here's the level where I'm going to first abuse Light Pac for a really big skip here. This level's going to go by really, really fast. So first I'm going to grab Night Pac here so I can go underwater, and then I'm going to grab Light Pac, and I'm actually going to turn around, and I'm going to boost from this slope here to get to this higher ledge that's at the end of the level. Then I'm going to ledge grab around this boost pad, break this box, and then ledge grab in this tiny little slit, and hop into the gold platform without opening the gate. So that skips the gate entirely in that level, and saves around 35 seconds. That's one of 3 gate skips I'm going to be going for in this run. There are 4 in total, but one of them isn't really safe for a marathon. This level, unfortunately, does not have a gate skip. It does have these bounce pads, which I can use to get up to these higher sections of the level a little bit earlier. Hopefully. There we go. And then these boost pads exist to push me forward a little bit faster. And I'm going to do that again here. Like that. So the reason why this gate isn't skippable is because you need the Light Pac from this gate in order to get past this section here at the end. It's not possible to get to these last 2 bounce pads without Light Pac. It's just barely not possible. And this level is an even bigger tease because the gold platform is actually located right behind where you start, but it's not possible to slow boost to there from the beginning, and it's not possible to get to there any other way. That skip would save over a minute if it were possible, but unfortunately, we do have to play through this entire level. And it is actually a rather challenging level to do optimally because you have to collect a lot of pack dots, and there's a lot of sections like this where you're going to be moving at really fast speeds, and it's really easy to miss pack dots because it can be hard to control pack dots sometimes. But 9 reserve pack dots here is actually really, really good, because that means I can actually not have to worry about too much about missing pack dots in this next section, and not have to go out of my way to collect any extras, which would be really advantageous in terms of routing. Alright, that was really fast. And now it's time for the bowl here, so I'm going to collect all the pack dots on the outer ring, and then just kind of make my way towards the middle of the circle here. And then this section, it used to be really difficult to find your way out of the bowl because it's kind of a 50-50 chance with no good visual indicator. However, I have recently found a visual indicator where that power pellet, if you go just to the right of where it is, then you'll always find your way out. You can just make our way to the end of the level. You don't want to fall off here, otherwise you have to go through the entire level again. Alright, and now it's time for the first boss level of the run against Galvis here, who's kind of the antagonist of this game. The way these fights work is you have to go through here and then eat 3 power pellets in order to make Galvis eatable, and then you have to eat him, and you have to do this a total of 3 times. The power pellets always appear in the same spots, so I know where they're all going to be ahead of time, so it's just a matter of getting to them quickly. For this fight in particular, I actually kind of want to wait once I get to the 3rd power pellet so that I don't have to chase Galvis down. Because that can waste a little bit of time if Galvis decides to play hooky or whatnot. Here I grab Night Pack so I can break that box so that's not in my way, and also grab this underwater pack out a little bit easier, or underwater power pellet. And it doesn't really matter too much because I have to wait for Galvis on the 3rd power pellet anyways, and there's a normal pack card on the way I can grab. Wait, here's Galvis, eat that, eat him, and we're done. Alright, so that's it for World 2. Now it's time for World 3, Sweet Land. This is where the run kind of starts to ramp up in terms of difficulty. So these stages are actually pretty long and pretty difficult. So for this first stage, there's a cycle in the 2nd section of the level that requires me to have really good movement throughout the first, 40 seconds of the level. In addition to that, for this route, I actually can't miss a single pack dot in this section. I nearly grabbed that Night Pack up there. And these ghosts can be a real pain. They can just get in your way. Ghost movement in this game is completely RNG. So far, this is looking decent. I'm a little slow here, but if I play well in this area right here, I should be able to make this cycle. Alright, I didn't miss any back dots. I should be able to make this. So now, once I get on this car here, I can actually skip the car ride for the rest of the level, because with Light Pack, I can do these ledge grab hops in between these platforms. And then I can, this is why I needed to not miss any pack dots, so I can skip that platform. And I can just do slow boosts to these last 2 sets of platforms, and I'll have exactly enough pack dots to finish the level. That should work. Okay. There we go. That saves around 12 seconds if you do it optimally. Very nice. Next is 3-2. So there's a variety of options you have for going about the beginning of this level. What I'm going to do here is, first of all, getting past these ghosts is actually really difficult. You can actually skip Night Pack in this first section entirely, but it's hard to do fast and even harder to save time with. So I'm just going to take Night Pack here just because it makes this section a lot easier. I need to grab underwater pack dots in order to have enough. This also makes the routing for the 2nd section of the level just work out a lot nicer. I'm going to grab that normal Pac-Man card. You can actually skip grabbing that, which means you can skip eating a Blinky in the next section. However, normal Pac just moves so much faster. Okay. Normal Pac moves so much faster than Night Pack that it's actually worth it to go ahead and just grab that. Now my cycles are off, so this is going to be rather interesting. Alright, managed to recover that. Yeah, I accidentally was a little bit slow on the first section and I actually got hit near the end there. And I need Night Pack to get past that box. There's no way to skip breaking it. Alright, next up is 3-3. This is a heavily cycle-based level. There's Making the fast cycle here does require decently good movement, but most cycles are actually pretty lenient, like this one, and the one coming up. You also do want to be, there's only one spare pack out for the first 2 gates in this route, so you gotta be pretty careful here. I'm gonna head over here. Now in this section, it's gonna be all about minimizing the amount of time I spend waiting on these platforms, so I'm gonna grab 3 pack dots from here and then just boost back, because I don't want to go over there. And now I'm gonna try to grab all the pack dots on that platform over there and make it back without losing my ride. There we go. I haven't missed any so far, which is really good. And now for this final section, I have to play decently fast so I can make one more early cycle here. And thankfully there's quite a few dots here, so I can afford to miss a few here and there. And I can afford to waste a little bit of time. Alright, there we go. I made the cycle, and I have enough pack dots. So provided I do this level properly, I should get around the same time every time. Alright, next up is 3-4. This is a level where I'm going to try to be pretty stingy on pack dots because I actually don't want to miss any throughout the first or 2 sections of this level because it will save time at the end of the level. And it's and pack dots here without slowing down or missing any. This is looking really good so far. Alright, I didn't miss any pack dots, that's really good. Now we're off to the roller coaster here. So this is an unskippable auto scroller, except you can skip about half of it, as you're going to see later on. And I need at least 80 pack dots in order to get past the gate, because this section, because like there's no way to skip the final 2 gates here. Alright. And the reason why I I don't want to miss too many pack dots is because the less pack dots I miss, the earlier I can do this. Alright, so yeah, by dying there, you can respawn back to the checkpoint, and you still have all of your pack dots. And the game is saving here because my life count changed. That can also happen if you update a score or beat an IL time of any kind, but that shouldn't happen in this run. Alright, so here's the World 3 boss. I would say that this is probably the hardest fight in the run. Just because it's really easy to die. I mean, the space you have to move around is not very big. And in this second phase, with the way the routing works out, it's really easy to run into gauntlets and just fall off and die. And if you die in a boss fight, you actually have to redo the entire fight. So here I'm actually going to kind of tank a hit to get past the levels a little easier. I did not mean to grab that normal pack card. I meant to keep the light pack card so that I could fly out to that section similar to what I did in the first phase. Alright, so that was pretty slow. So for this final phase, I have to make sure I eat the power pellets at specific times so that I can keep all of it stunned to make it easier to avoid him. Alright, there we go. A little sloppy, but overall that World 3 wasn't too bad. So now it's time for the hardest world in any percent, Flaming Fortress. This first level in particular is really bad because it's basically just Pac-Man pinball on steroids. Pac-Man can just get flamed all over the place here because there's a lot of obstacles, a lot of bounce pads and stuff. In addition to that, every single section of this level requires me to collect every single pack dot to open the gates. So you don't have a whole lot of room for error here. There is also moving bounce pads after the next gate here that are on cycles, and I'm pretty sure I've already choked any chance I have of making the fast cycle, which would cost me about 4.5 seconds, or 3.5 seconds. But I'm pretty sure I made the second fastest cycle, which is still decent. And I can't skip that gate, sadly. It's not possible to hit this button early, and I need to hit that button so I can roll all the walls and get the control platform. And unfortunately, I ate a couple of ghosts there, which cost some lag frames. 4-2 is a relatively straightforward level. There's a couple interesting spots here and there, but for the most part, level's just kind of going through and dodging a bunch of obstacles. It's very easy to get hurt in this level because of the amount of obstacles in your way. But sometimes it's advantageable. Like right here, I'm going to kind of damage boost through those rollers there. And here I'm going to grab light packs so that I can skip some of these bounce pads. This does put me a little shorter on pack dots than I would have been, but thankfully there's plenty of dots in this level. Alright. Alright. Maybe pass there without dying, that's good. So now this section, there's just a bunch of falling walls here, and it's really easy to get hurt here. Although the brake mechanic actually comes into a lot of use here because since the ledges are so tiny, it's easy to have Pac-Man just fall off the edge if you're not too careful. That should be enough pack dots. Alright, perfect. Decent level. So now it's time for 4-3. So there is a platform cycle after the first gate here, and to make it easier to make, I'm going to boost across these platforms. That actually doesn't save any time because of the cycle, but it makes the cycle a whole lot easier to make. That was a strat found by Joester98, who's the only other person who's ever run this game. So yeah, it might have looked like I just barely missed that cycle, but you cannot make that in real time. It's just not possible. And you can make that cycle without the boosts, but it's a little bit more difficult. Here I need to boost into these bounce pads in order to get enough distance to cross the gaps here. And now here's some really cool movement. Use that bounce pad right there to kind of reflect me backwards, and I can boost off over here. Save about 2 seconds. Alright, that's enough pack dots, and that's the end of the level. Alright, now it's time for 4-4. This is, without a doubt, the hardest level in the run. Guys, if you die in this level on world record pace, your run's basically dead. And it's a really difficult level to get through without dying, because as you can see here, it's just a long downward spiraling path. There's no gate in this level, however. That level's still really difficult because there's no way to fall from higher sections of the level to lower sections. So basically, it's just a minute and 15 seconds of just boosting through this narrow corridor-like thing. And because of the very slopes and how awkward some of the turns are, it's really easy to just hold the incorrect angle on the joystick and just have Pac-Man fall to its oblivion. This is a really tough stage. And with how spread out the checkpoints are, dying in this level is really bad. Like, this is the last checkpoint in the level, and there's still like 30 seconds left in the level. Yeah, as you can see, I'm just boosting all the way throughout as much as I can because that will speed me up by a significant amount. Like right here, I boost off to the side instead of taking those bounce pads all the way across. Alright, so right here, I actually can't skip any of these platforms. If I try to just hold forward, I'll die. So I have to kind of switch between holding back and forth here. And we just got this final ramp here. Alright, that was a really good level. A 116 is actually a pretty decent time. But now we have another really difficult level, 4-5. So this level contains a glitch that was found by Joester98 as well, where if you boost at the exact same time that you're grounded on a bounce pad or lava, you can actually enter the boost state, and this is going to be heavily abused throughout this level. First of all, there's a section with a bunch of bounce pad ramps after the gate here. I'm going to be using it to skip most of the ramps, and I'm also going to be using it to boost across the lava to skip some falling towers. This is a lot, and because I'm going to be taking a lot of damage in this level, this is a level where health management is key. So here we go, here's the first lava boost. The timing for this is super precise. So now here comes the second set of lava boosts I'm going to be going for. Alright, perfect. So I'm on pace to make the fast platform cycle here. And I made it. So I'm going to do another bounce boost here to skip. That didn't really save me any time. I'm going to grab that just for safety, and I'm going to do one more set of lava boosts here to skip these falling ramps. That was a pretty decent level. Alright, now it's time for the World 4 boss. So this first phase, I used to think it was RNG, but you can actually just slow boost to these power pellets, and it makes it a little bit easier. And it mitigates most of the RNG, because Galvis can rotate the platform like 5 different ways, and it's really annoying. So on the second phase, you can rotate the platform counterclockwise or clockwise, and I actually got the better of the 2 RNG patterns here. However, this does mean that the platform will be less stabilized at the start of the third phase here, but that doesn't really matter too much. Because for this third phase, I'm not even going to have to worry about the... I'm not even going to worry about the platform, because I can just lava boost for the power pellets. There we go. Alright, and now it's time to move on to the World 5, which is exclusive to the Wii version of the game, and is without a doubt the most broken part of the any% run. So if you've been keeping track, you might have noticed that throughout the first 4 worlds, only one level had a major skip. In this world, every single level has a really big skip, which is just hilarious. So in this first level, that gold platform, as you can see, is right next to where the level starts, but I can't reach it right now because there's a bunch of invisible walls blocking the way. Instead, I actually have to go through this first gate, which is unskippable. Grab light pack in this section, and then backtrack. And there's one slope in particular I can use a slip boost on as light pack to give me just enough height to clear the distance, get past all the invisible collision and land on the corner of this gold platform. This skips the second and third gates of the level and saves about 50 seconds. And now it's time for 5-2 and 5-3, where unlike 4-4, I can actually fall from higher parts of the stage to lower parts. I have to fall around a bunch of kill planes in order to do this. As you can see, I'm already at the bottom of the level. And here's the third gate skip in the run. I'm going to use a particular slope here to... Oh, dang it. Yeah. What I'm going to try to do here is use a particular slope boost to get a high enough boost to completely clear this and then land on the higher up goal platform. There's like 6 different ways you could skip the gate in that level. And now here's this level, which is really long and really difficult. Unless you do this. As you can see, I just beat the level in 6 seconds. Now it's time for 5-4, which is one of my favorite levels in the game, just because of the amount of movement you have to do. There is actually a gate skip in this level that saves around 10 seconds, but it's really not marathon safe. And if you miss it, you die and lose way more time than the skip saves. So I'm just going to opt to do the no gate skip route instead, just because this is a lot safer. There's still a lot of cool tricks in this level, like I'm going to do a cycle skip here, like that. And there's going to be some more cycle skips on the platforms up ahead, where I'm going to be going across the corners of them to skip waiting on them. Like this, I call this crisscrossing. So the big skip in this level is once I reach the section with light pack cards and some bounce pads in front of them, I'm going to be able to use the bounce pads and light pack to jump straight to the final gear of the level, which takes around 25 to 30 seconds. There we go. That's that level done. And now all that remains is the World 5 boss. So this fight, just like all the other fights, power pellets always appear in the same spots, so you just gotta navigate between them as quickly as possible. There are 2 fights in this level, however, and there's a bit of an unskippable cutscene in between the 2 of them. So there's around a little under a minute and a half remaining in this run. I was not in the right spot for that power pellet. And again, if you die on a boss fight, you actually do have to redo the entire fight. So I'm going to try to be as careful as possible here. So here comes an unskippable cutscene. This is the only downtime in the entire run, sadly. So the final boss is going to be pretty cycle-based here as well. As long as I do everything in the correct order, I should not have to worry about messing up too badly. And those ghosts, you can only eat them if you boost into them, and so I actually have to brake as soon as I eat them so I don't fall off the edge. Alright, so time is actually going to be coming up here really soon. It is going to be when I eat Galvis for the final time here. So get ready for that on my mark. Alright, coming up on it, and time. Alright, my timer says 23:44. So the world record is a 22:58 by me. So that was actually a pretty good run overall. If you're interested in learning this game, First of all, I would highly suggest joining the Pac-Man Discord. We have a Discord server for literally all of the Pac-Man games, including this one. And also, I have a complete tutorial for any percent on my YouTube channel, so you can use that if you're interested in learning the category. That's it. I'm done for this marathon, and with that, I'm just going to throw it back on over to the host.
Thank you. We have... Next up, we have a runner called the Best running about face.